The next panel is the Insight CPOs, and I'll tell you a little story about each of them. So I will start over here. Prasanth is actually a 2-time Insight product person, which we really want to see, guys, right? So Prasanth came from WealthX, and he is now at VTS, and he came into the role as a VP of product with no CPO. So he's going to talk a little bit about what it's like to come in at a VP level. Doug, I met, I think, in 2017, but he actually works for Conga, which is growing amazingly. We have been collaborating on some things around strategy, so we'll talk about that. Karen. We put on one of our most senior board members and product people to partner with her, and now she's with us a year later and doing amazing things. And last but not least, Greg works for PrecisionLender, and he's our latest hire. So I'm going to start with Prasanth over there, and I'm going to ask you a little bit about what it's like coming into an Insight portfolio company. You were at a different size company, and now you're at a very high growth company, growing very fast, and the organization is scaling. Talk a little bit about your experience coming in as a VP, and maybe about your 30 days, and how what different things you had to do as a leader, as a product, versus your last role.
Yeah, the experience, I'll probably talk about it in 2 things. One, from an Insight perspective, being really gracious with their time, right? Helping people like me who are ambitious, want to grow, but also make sure they don't do anything wrong. So they do give that adult supervision, right? So people like Shelly, people like Steve Rabin have spent a lot of time with me, and that's been really helpful. And I'll talk one incident specifically. That's with this current company, which is VTS. So I'm joining this firm. We don't have a CPO yet. And we have several products that are doing really well, and several product initiatives that have been sort of launched in the press but not released as of yet, right? So I'm walking in trying to sort of like, what has happened here? How can I make sure that there is a level set, there is a reset button in terms of what expectations have been there before, and using that honeymoon period, right, the 30 days, to really drive alignment across the C-level, right? And so that was my first goal, right? And Shelly was really instrumental in helping me drive that goal. That it's not about going in and starting to deliver, like go back and look at the backlog and start like, okay, we are already behind in time. We need to start building. That's not the point. The first 30 days, just realize what has happened so far. What were the assumptions? Is there a reset button to be pressed? Is there alignment in the organization, right? So that was my first goal, and I think that was really helpful in driving that as the first goal, and we have hit the reset button, which has been great.
Doug, you have scaled an organization, you have grown, your organization keeps growing and getting bigger and larger. Talk a little bit about how your organization has evolved and some of the things that you've had to make changes in terms of that growth.
Sure, when I got to Conga, little over 3 years ago, there were no people in product management whatsoever. And in a town where it was pretty difficult to find people with SaaS experience, especially around Salesforce. So I found somebody that had the right kind of personality traits and minted a brand new product manager. And then we subsequently went about fixing the product that we had to get it growing faster. It had declining growth. It was in a build trap. We acquired 3 companies about 6 months into our gig, and none of those companies had product managers, so I went and created some new product managers in those places. And we launched a new product in April of last year with my first product manager that I minted. I put him on, changed his product, and got him to launch a brand new product. Hired one of my former bosses to come and help me mentor the team, to be a layer in between on a lot of ways. I was very busy. And then we acquired 3 new companies this year and launched 3 products this year. So we've now got a team of about a dozen product management professionals at all the different layers. I was promoted to Chief Product Officer about a year ago. It's been a really interesting growth phase. The first company I've been at that's really had very distinct different products, where my biggest gig before this was at DocuSign, running product management for 5.5 years. It's really a product with a lot of nuances to it. This is really a dozen different products all fit together in a suite, and getting the people to all behave on behalf of their product and their markets, but also on behalf of the company, on behalf of the suite. and changing their mentality of, I was with this company 6 months ago and now I'm part of Conga, was some really interesting challenges. And getting them in their various stages of becoming product managers of whatever level to think about the market first and not the feature, and how we actually lead sales, how we lead where we choose to play and how we choose to win.
Doug recently reached out to me to say, hey, how do you think about this organization expanding with this growth? And it was great because we were able to exchange some ideas of some other things that we did, and we will work in a partnership way. So in many ways, when we have people who are on the verge of growth and they just need some additional guidance or some additional help, they will do the network, and it's actually part of why we're partnering with Product Labs to kind of help provide that growth, because guys, there's not a lot of product people, I said it again, that actually know how to scale for this stage. So we're really excited when we can work with people who have come with our portfolio companies and we can grow them. Sometimes we can't do that, and we actually have to bring in new leaders, and I talked about Karen with that. And Karen is a phenomenal woman, and I can say I'm very happy she's doing her job. She actually had to work through a founder who is a CTO founder, exiting the business. And let's just talk about that, about how it was like going into a founder-led organization and how you maneuvered your way to success.
Yeah, it was a challenge. Thankfully, I like the fixer-upper opportunity, so I was happy to go in. So I'm the Chief Product Officer for Prevalent. We do third-party vendor risk management. So we help our clients, major Fortune 500 companies, determine the risk for their vendors, right? So if you remember the Target breach, that was from their HVAC company. And because they didn't have any kind of password control on their computers, someone hacked into them, and then they got into Target's billing system. So we help prevent that from happening. We help our major clients identify those things. So the thing is, the market is fabulous. I mean, you don't know anyone that doesn't have this problem, right? Everyone has a web presence. Everyone is taking credit cards on the internet. Everybody has this problem. Great market. They were early identifiers, these co-founders of the problem, and were really smart. The issue that they had was they were professional services. They were professional services minded, and so to kind of come in, this is a total true story. Come in my first day, I get escorted in with the two founders, and I'm told that literally by Wednesday, and it was a Monday, I had to sign off on the budget and the strategy. And I said, okay. I said, well, the budget's easy because I've never, you can always meet a budget, right? The strategy, and so, they gave me the whole pitch, and the whole pitch was around, basically streamlining what they had, building a new product, integrating everything together, and we were going to do that in 3 months. And so so my background, started in engineering, went to customer support, did product marketing, have run sales organizations. So I've touched every part of developing software, which has served me, I think, really well because you get to see it all. And so I knew that this, what's the definition of insanity? It's you keep doing the same thing and you expect a different outcome. And this would have been the third product that the team had tried to rewrite the original one that made their growth. So the hard part is, especially when the co-founders, they're entrepreneurial, they have great personalities, everybody loves them, but no one is willing to say the emperor has no clothes. And so it was hard coming in as the brand new person. The only woman on the C staff to say, hey guys, we're crazy here, right? And we have to stop and think about what we do. So part of it was really around, two things. So strategy was lacking, but market focused, right? So the co-founders definitely understood the market and what the customers needed, didn't know how to build enterprise software. So it was a combination of, figuring out how do we do the engineering discipline so we can build a software as a service product that our customers will love and keep buying more of. You were talking about the add-on stuff before, and not leave those customers behind. So you have to do both things. And so, you know, it is really, and it's still an ongoing thing. We have a whole new strategy. We're releasing a new product this month, so we're really excited about it. But it was really around, you know, you have to redesign the engine while the plane's in the air, right? So we were on this great growth path, and we have, you know, brand name customers. You would all know them, and they're, you know, you guys probably all, they're your customers too as consumers, big brands using us, and you can't just say, I'm not doing that, I'm going to build something else, right? You have to do both.
And last but not least, you're here. The very specific thing, we have a fabulous product in PrecisionLender, and we have an entrepreneurial product-led founder. Let's talk about the challenge that you came into, and you are new to the organization, and we are thrilled to have him. He is quite an experienced TPO, and he actually worked he was a CPO and a CEO for a current portfolio company, not in an earlier stage. It's now one of Insight's portfolio companies. But let's talk about what you came into and what your challenge is and how you're tackling that.
PrecisionLender, strong, visionary, highly technical founder, grew the business spectacularly, both through his personal charisma and his technical ability and his kind of architectural vision. He's got a real good nose for product market fit, value, not building too soon. So like a lot of, I mean, it would be like, it's your best buddy. So my role is taking 3 major, now 4 major chunks of the company from his direct report. And it's like his heart and soul. And they all came to the company because of him. So there's an aspect that's, you know, there's a change just in existing, but there hasn't been a single thing about it that wasn't fairly represented by Shelley. And I don't think, I mean, I knew the questions to ask. I've worked for strong founders before, product-led founders. I've worked in public companies, divisions of conglomerates, small startups, pre-cash flow. So I've seen a lot. I came from a same role at a company that went from 30 to 130 million in recurring in 5 years, had a massive exit. And I really like the stage. And I was excited about the problem, because what I saw was product market fit, great market, great customer, understanding and empathy of the customer, great underlying technology vision, a product vision, a span of stuff, some that is real and relatively mature in terms of its fit to its particular market, and then some very new stuff that has massive growth. I was like, man, a lot of hard problems are solved. I just got to get in there and like execute. So are there problems? Yeah, there's problems. But they're kind of obvious to me. The question is being really effective in going from point A to point B relatively quickly. And part of that's saying no to things, but that's not going to be that hard. Part of it is some discipline about measurement, some discipline about prioritization as opposed to the shiny new thing today, some discipline about just staging, timing things, like can't do everything today. You know, when you're small, it feels like you can do everything today. So there's going to be a period of feeling like slowing down in order to speed up. But the confidence I think that I have is really a very supportive investor group, not only Insight but others, and the founders very much in my corner. I mean, that was easy to determine because I just asked the question coming into the role.
He doesn't exactly know what happened before he was interviewing, but that's okay.
And
It's been a lot of time in Cary.
Mercedes and Shelley did all the hard work, right? They created the position and got me to the doorstep, and so I knew I could ask the question because, I mean, it's like asking your customer, you know, if I build this for you, will you pay for it? You don't ask the question, if I build this for you, will you like it? It's the wrong question. If you ask the wrong question, it's your fault. So that's the approach I took.
And that's why he's sitting up here today. Very happy about that. I'm going to ask you guys a speed round. There's a lot of work to do. So my question to you for speed round, I'm going to start with you, Prasanth. I'm going to go in order, is, and I know it's your second company. What is one thing that we could do as Insight and Product Labs as we go forward that you would have liked to have, whether you were at WealthX, and it's not me, by the way, because Hillary will yell at me, but an actual leverageable asset that we could provide you to give you greater leverage as a product leader?
I'd probably say understanding how to communicate, saying no and driving focus to C-level, right? Like there is this empowerment team that product managers should be able to bring people together, bring the C-levels together and make decisions and alignment. But when you have strong founders who believe that they know everything, like how do you as an operational leader have that courage, the tactfulness, all of those things. So hopefully like some more guidance on that, I think would be great.
You have a CPO starting pretty soon. I promise you they're going to teach you how to do that. And they will not be saying no. They will teach you how to actually say no in a different way.
That's perfect.
So there you go. And when there is that gap in terms of that, we actually bring someone in to help. So yes.
I think clarity on what the mission of product is, not necessarily for upper leadership in my situation. My challenge was with engineering leaders who wanted the product managers to run engineering. Yes. Yep. And so my engineering leader is now gone, and we're looking for a new CTO. So that would be helpful.
Great, thank you.
I don't know. I have so many thoughts here. So one is, it's great when you actually, I totally agree that Shelley, the best part about working with Insight is there's no sugarcoating, right? It's coming in, seeing, you enter everything with eyes wide open. So same thing with me was the CEOs and co-founders were, yes, they were convinced or forced to believe that this had to happen, but how does the other operational aspects of the business start to behave differently, right? And, as a new person in the company, and kind of especially as a woman, you have to balance that a little bit. You can't go in and be like, okay, why is this custom deal that we just sold in sales that's doing a custom configuration, no one on the product team even saw, and it's signed, and for a Fortune 500 company, comes to my desk, and I know we shouldn't be doing it. Right? At that point, it's too late. So I think there's the other parts of the organization that really need that coaching. So it's really not just on product to say no and ask the wrong questions. It's the other parts of the business have to support that. So I would say that. But other than that, I think it's been great working for Insight. I've been really thrilled and supported by all of you. So it's been great.
So I love frameworks. I'm an architect and an engineer by training, literally, and a scientist before that, and I love frameworks. I basically can't remember anything, but if you ask me how I got to within 3 hours of my PhD in astrophysics, it's because I basically learned 4 laws. F equals ma. You don't have to remember very much. If you remember the framework, you can do anything. So I love frameworks. And what I got at the last company that I was at, where we went 30 to 130, where I picked up a couple frameworks. I didn't get all my frameworks. I brought some and I picked up some. I think I'm in a position to share some with you guys.
Have you logged on to the Go network?
Yeah.
Okay. I think there's some frameworks there. My friends.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
that's great
there's
feedback.
everything from how do you interface with enterprise sales when you go enterprise to how do you deal with capital allocation problems like CapEx versus keeping the lights on versus innovation, which our funding partners really like to know about. So there's lots of
We'll
great
be-
agile
we'll-
frameworks. You know,
We'll
everybody.
be expecting your contributions to our Go framework, or our Go network is a virtual network, a virtual site specific to Insight portfolio companies that we're sharing with Insight things, and as well as our companies contributing to it. So we know what's going to be coming under yours, but no, we will. We actually will add some. All right, guys, I know it's been a long evening, and I want to thank everyone who came tonight and supported for the favors that you paid back. And please talk to anybody who was on the panel, have a drink, and again, walk away with 3 things. 1, product is actually a specialty. It's not just the smush in the middle, and everything is not the same. Number 2, when you're actually hiring and scaling, people have different skills at different stages. Make sure you know what you need and you want before you hire them. And number 3, Insight has some of the best product talent for growth stage organizations today. And if you choose to become part of an Insight company, you will join a very experienced panel of product people, and we're going to keep growing. So